Welcome back to That's What She Said. Today's episode is a very special episode, and it is sponsored by the Christie Foundation. And we are so excited to have Danielle in the house. We have so many exciting things to talk about and invitations to give you because we want to see you very, very, very soon at the Purpose Project. But before we get there, let's back that truck up and tell us who you are. Sure. and what you do and what your involvement with the Purpose Project is. And then we'll just talk.
Sounds great. I'm Danielle Wilberg. I own my own PR agency, M&R agency, and I am grateful that I get to work with the Christie Foundation and really working with the Purpose Project and figuring out ways for people to find their own purpose in their life and then take it out into the world.
Love that. We're done. That's a wrap. That's it. I love that. So tell us what the Purpose Project is, what that's going to look like, what that means, and how people can get involved.
The Purpose Project is a free event that really is a search of yourself, things that have happened to you, ways that you can find your own purpose in life, and then how to live it. It's small group facilitated, so it's not being lectured at or having a speaker talk at you, but really an interactive way, an event to talk about the things that matter most to you, and then what you can do with it in your life later on. It's a morning only. It's not, you don't have to commit hours and hours. It's October 29th, and it's 9 to 11 at the Windsor Road Christian Church. It's free.
So do people have to register ahead of time or sign up or just show up? That's important.
Just show up.
Really?
Yep. We'll have lots of information on the Christie Foundation Facebook page and the Christie Foundation website. So all you need to know is there. But we are taking as many people as we can fit into the room and then some.
I love that. And I think one of the things I love about the Purpose Project is because you think like, of course we all know what our purpose is, but like, no, we really don't. And then how do you find that? And like, I want to have a purpose. And a person that we know was saying sort of putting your life, making a mission statement, like taking your life so seriously and finding your purpose. But maybe it helps if you think of it like a business and come up with a mission statement. And for her, she said she tried to come up with a 2-word mission statement. And like she said, it's exchanging stories, or it's Jeanette's was
inspire emotion.
I love that.
That's good.
And so sometimes,
that's very good.
That's why the Purpose Project is so important, because it gives you a template of what does that mean? You know, what does that look like, and where do I start, and how do I start? And I think it's so normal in this busy time and age. Women in particular, busy moms, busy professional women are doing, taking care of everybody, and not looking inward and not taking the time to revisit and check in on who they are and if they're fulfilling their purpose.
Right.
And so I love that the Christie Foundation is putting this on, because it is that opportunity. And I think it's open to men and women, right?
Open to men and women, yep.
Obviously, we love the support of the women's side of things here. That's what she said. But I think that's what speaks to me, is that it's a moment to stop. And it's an event where you can take that time and look at your own life and make some reflections and some changes if that works out.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that this is not just an event for women, because it isn't a women's issue. It's a people issue, and all of us. And I think when you schedule it, when you can put on your calendar, this is where I need to be. And sometimes you have to do that.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to schedule in time with your partner or time to be self-reflective.
Exactly. And sometimes I used to fly all over the country, and I would use those times on the plane to really be self-reflective. But if you don't get the luxury of getting time to yourself in long bouts, it's really hard to be self-reflective, unless you're getting up at 4.
Sometimes you need tools, though. Sometimes you can stop and take the time and not know how to find it or where to look. And so I think this event is something that's going to give people tools to the right questions to ask, or the right way to word things that are going to help people really have those deep thoughts.
Well, for you personally, so this is, do you feel like this is something you've been doing for a long time, you stumbled upon, or how does it affect you personally?
So it's a good question. I think there's a long answer that I won't totally get into, but I'll kind of frame it in terms of my own personal story. I had a great love of my life and a previous job, and for whatever reason, many things just happened, and I was no longer in that job. And it was what to do next. Where do I want to go? As I was leaving, what was the next step? And I ended up opening up my own PR agency and was a little floundering. What are my clients going to look like? What am I going to do? And I had lots of people telling me what I should do. My husband in particular, he was great. He was very supportive, but yeah, I had a big birthday and was really being self-reflective at that time, and realized that for me, working on issues of closing the poverty gap was really important to me. It's something I've always done in my community service. It's something that I now am doing in my own work. So the Christie Foundation is a great example of giving all the scholarships to people that actually want to fulfill their own dreams but maybe can't get there. And I've got lots of different groups that I'm working with to figure out ways to work on at-risk youth and issues with all kinds of poverty-related issues. So that's what I found for my purpose, and I was able to then tailor my work and grab clients that were also working in that same regard.
So you're living in that place of fulfillment every day.
Yes.
Which is awesome. That's the definition of success, I think. You mentioned that you had a significant birthday. I won't ask what it was, but
It's all right. I was 40. I'm not
That's
ashamed.
Right. Yep.
we're not ashamed here either. But do you think that's a normal time in a woman's life to start asking some questions or reevaluating purpose?
I don't know. For me, it was because I expected to be like the president of the United States by the time I was 40, which is
We could still make that happen. There's an election
well,
coming
I'm
up.
past 40, but but I kind of looked back and I thought, what am I doing? For me, 40 was just one of those benchmarks in life that I thought I was going to be doing so much more than driving my kids 4 hours a night to their various activities, and was feeling a little bit in a rut because of that. And so when I really reflected on what I was doing, this gave all of the work that I get to do at home and with the kids a little more meaning, even in that regard as a person.
I read this quote by one of my favorite authors, Kelly Corrigan, just yesterday, and she said the question was, where is that woman inside of this mom? And it so
That's
struck
perfect.
me.
Yep.
It so struck me because you are both. But sometimes when things get out of balance, you know, if I'm working too much, I feel like, I got to get back to that mom place. And if you're in the mom sprint, you feel like, hey, I'm in here.
Yes, you do. You
It's
feel
so
it's
hard.
not smothering. It just is. You've got two different faces that you're trying to allow to be on the surface at all times, and it's
Right.
really hard to do that.
But I think that's what, looping back to the Purpose Project,
Yep.
and I think with your job and what you were saying, when you define the things that are important, and because there are a million awesome things to do in the world,
Exactly.
but you have to think, does that align with where I want to be? Does that align with me now? It might in 5 years, but I can't do it now.
Right.
And so you just start, if you go back to that purpose and you think, yeah, I would love to, it sounds awesome, it seems fantastic, but not for me, or not for me right now.
Right.
Or sometimes the thought of making a big change can be really overwhelming to a mom who is running around 4 hours a night, or, a full-time job and all the stuff we do. I think what could come out of the Purpose Project is you just take that moment, you figure something out, and then remember that there's opportunities that come in all sizes and shapes. There is volunteering through community service nonprofits that do fulfill some of those inner drives and goals,
Right.
like working with at-risk
At-risk youth.
working with at-risk youth and and people living in poverty, and it doesn't all have to happen at once, is my point. You
Right.
don't have to leap into the
Right.
pool
Right.
all in your clothes all at once.
All the
but
time.
but to find those
Right.
little moments where you can have a moment of that felt good, and that drives me. I think there's little moments that we can find.
Right.
Yeah, I have the luxury of getting to do it as part of my professional career because it was basically, I was starting fresh. And I would definitely have been able to have done that in various ways without going full blown into a professional setting with it. And like you said, one step at a time is a big step.
Right.
and so that was something that I was able to do, thankfully. But there's many ways to do that, and I know we'll be talking about certain small steps you can make as well as giant steps when we talk at the
All
Purpose
of the
Project.
above.
Yep.
And I love that it breaks into what you were saying about, the small groups. And it is hard, no matter how great the content is, it is hard to sit and just absorb
Yes.
a lot of talky talk. And I love that they break out, because not only are you now in a small group, but you're meeting new people and you're
Right.
networking and hearing other people's ideas and what worked for them and what didn't. And it's a home run.
And when you
It
put
is.
stuff out there, when you find what
Right.
you're looking for and you put it out there and you're in that type of environment that the Purpose Project creates, where you're with other like-minded people, I think the world has a neat way of working out that you find people who help you reach your goal.
Absolutely, and sometimes quicker than you think. As soon as I made that switch, and it was just in June, all of a sudden it was like the world opened up, and I've got all of these great opportunities to help so many more people in need, and so many organizations that are working so hard to do the right things in this one area. So I definitely think what you put out, you get back tenfold. And
It's
that
true, and
was,
it's when I ran into you just a few months ago
Yeah.
and found out that you were doing this, and when I was 40 just last week, crazy story, but I changed jobs and took
Yeah.
this big leap. And so then you were on my radar, and it was like Danielle coming up everywhere. You were my Facebook feed, you were everywhere. But I think because then I had this
Yeah.
in my mind, every time I would think about you or see you, like cheering for you in my mind and thinking, I hope she's doing okay. I hope she's, staying the course. And
Definitely. Sometimes I think my family is like, okay, come back, come back. But I will say the good thing about the family side, when you are living sort of that purpose that you're looking for, is they say to me a lot, you're so much happier, or you just are lighter, you're not so quiet anymore, and we're out and about now, and it's just a lot shifted. And I think that personal shift made a shift for the family for the good too. So
well, and sometimes I think when you talk about like living a life of purpose and
Yep.
and those kind of conversations can sometimes just feel like, hey, living a life of purpose,
Yes.
like and it does
Yes.
it feels empty.
Yep.
But when you're truly doing it, like all of a sudden, it's not just a self-absorbed talking about looking at myself. It affects everyone in my life, and
Right.
when I veer away, everybody, mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. It's so true. And then I think, gosh, I'm snipping at people, I'm grumpy and I'm resentful because I'm not staying the course. And then I
Yep.
have to sort of pull myself back and go, okay, I'm back on course. Sorry about that. And it affects everybody. It seeps out into
does.
everybody. Or if I'm cranky at Jeanette, it can be your work environment too. And I'm cranking at her. And it's like, well, get back to your purpose, girl.
Exactly.
And
We're not
Right.
answering my emails.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, but it affects every area of your life.
It does very much so. So that's I can't remember what I was going to say with that point, but yes, you're right.
But I love how everything has a way of aligning and coming full circle. I mean, we
Yeah.
use these terms and throw them around, but it's true. You had a leap. You had a leap. You found Christie Foundation. There's now this event that will help people do the same.
Right.
It's very meaningful. And
Yes.
so I think this Purpose Project has become part of your purpose.
Absolutely.
It's too perfect.
Yeah,
It's-
the alignment was perfect with what I was trying to do, and then having other people get to walk down the same journey that I have been. And it wasn't overnight by any means. That 40 was approaching, and it was like a year of self-reflection of, I am not where I thought I was going to be. And instead of being sad about it, it was, okay, so this is easy to change. Let's just figure out how to change it for the right way.
Right. Well, I'm so glad you did. And thank you so much. Thank you for being an
Yes.
inspiration to us. And you're out there doing it with your own business. And then now, like all the great worlds colliding. Like I adore you and the Purpose Project. And now you have your own business. And so we'll just follow you around like
thanks.
cheerleaders. Everywhere you go,
I
there
need a
will
lot
be.
of cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And so
We're
where
available.
should friends watching get more information about the Purpose Project?
Sure. If the Christie Foundation Facebook page is going to have
the
the
best place.
best
Okay.
information, but also the Christie Foundation website. So you'll get lots of information there about the scholarships that are give out, and if you're looking to apply for a scholarship, also information is
And
there.
we'll be sharing all of that on the That's What She Said Facebook, social media as well.
Great. Great.
And until next time, that's what she said. Thank you again to the Christie Foundation for not only doing the Purpose Project, but for sponsoring today's episode. And thank you to Columbia Street Roastery for keeping us caffeinated.